what's up, everybody? Welcome into Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast. That's Phil Perry. When you take into account off-season work, training camp, mini camp, the 3 preseason games and the 8 regular season games, we're a little bit past the midpoint of the 2025 football season. How close are the Patriots to hitting the vision that Mike Vrabel laid out for them when he met with the media in January? Here's what Mike said then.
Excited to get to work, excited to meet the people in this building that have made this place special, find out what they need, find out how I can help them, do their job better, how we can enhance the stuff that we do well, and then find out what the areas of focus are and get to work. I want to galvanize our football team. I want to galvanize this building. I want to galvanize our fans.
So far, I would say mission accomplished. We're going to hand out some midterm grades and some progress reports. Those do need to be signed by your parents. Let's have a look at what's gone on so far. Check it out. Yo, Patriots 6-2. You see that loss against the Raiders at home, the win down in Miami. They lose, just give it away against the Steelers. Then they reel off 5 wins, the most recent, a 31-13 and a 32-13 win over the Titans and Browns. You see the opponents' combined record there. Not real jaw-dropping. It's 20-40. Let's now move on to the playoff standings. There they are, the Indianapolis Colts, everybody's surprise team at 7-1. Right behind them in the 2 seed, it's the New England Patriots at 6-2, sitting pretty. Bring in Phil Perry now. Senator, what do you make of all this stuff? Not just the results, but what Mike Vrabel laid out and where the Patriots are after 8 games.
They have exceeded everyone's expectations. And I think if you gave Mike Vrabel a little bit of truth serum, he might acknowledge the same. That this was the start of a process. This was a continuation of a rebuild that probably started by drafting Drake Maye, number 3 overall, a couple of off seasons ago, and they would see where it went. For them to be second in the conference and for the conference to be as open as it is, Tom, are both surprising developments for me.
Yeah, should have been a foundation-laying year. Gerard Mayo started it last year, wanted to. He got the rebar down. He got the forms in. Next thing you knew, subcontractors weren't getting their stuff done on time. They had to rip it all out. They started again. The foundation has been poured. It's erected. Now, I'm actually seeing the frame of a pretty sturdy and really nice house being built here down in Foxborough. And it's all being done by the main guy, Drake Maye. Let's take a look at his numbers through 8 games, and they're eye-popping. Now, this is everything, okay? So let's pay close attention to this. He's 170 for 226, 2,026 yards, 9.0 yards per attempt. 7.5 is good. 8's Pro Bowl level. 9 is eye-popping. 15 touchdowns, 3 picks, 118.7 passer rating. That's first in the league. 75.2 completion percentage. That's first in the league. 4th in yards, 4th in QBR. That's a made-up ESPN stat. 9th in interception rate. He's a 1.32. He was a 2.96 last year, so huge improvement. 29th, though, in sacks per attempt. He's taken 28 so far. Take a look at this, though. These numbers have been achieved by these players previously. Manning, Mahomes, Brady, and so on. All those guys went on to be MVPs in that season. Phil, what do you got on this stuff here? I mean, he is the lead. Look, there's conversation about Jonathan Taylor, and I understand it. And I think that there is a push to say, let's have a running back get it, because it's not Mahomes and Allen right now. He's got 12 touchdowns, Jonathan Taylor does, for the best in the AFC Colts. But when you talk about value, I've always said the quarterback touches the ball in every single play and makes all the decisions. You can never give it over a position player unless he is off the charts spectacular.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, for Jonathan Taylor and anybody else who doesn't play the quarterback position, this is always going to be a quarterback award. And through the first half of the season, almost half of the season, Drake Maye is the most valuable player in football. Is he the best quarterback in football? He's playing. You could make the argument he's playing like the best quarterback in football.
He's just so hesitant to say it, but he is.
But when you say the best, that implies now and into the future. And I think we're still sort of trying to figure that out. There are plenty of people out there, and rightfully so, who would still take Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and a number of different quarterbacks over Drake Maye. But right now, in terms of value, Drake Maye and what he's done for this team in this surrounding cast on the offensive side of the ball for the New England Patriots and what he's done for the organization overall, I'm not sure there's a quarterback who's done more to get his team to where they are right now.
It's Jaden Daniels-esque with different and more impressive numbers in some ways than what Daniels did last year. The two shining examples that have to be accounted for are 20 and 40, the combined record of the teams he's played,
Sure.
and 28 sacks, and the simple fact that those other guys, we've seen them perform against the best teams in the league in the most high-leverage situations. Let's take a look now at offensively and defensively, where the team is overall in the league. First off, with offense, simple. We did a lot of May numbers there. But average points per game, you saw in 2023, they were 31st with 13.9. 2024, 17 points per game. 30th. This year, they are tied for 7th at 26.6 points per game. Also, taking a look at the defense, 9th in yards per game, 2nd in rushing yards per game, 19th in passing yards. They're giving up some numbers there. They're just 11th on third down, but 36% is real good. They're tied for the 5th in the most takeaways, but they're also tied for 8th in the most giveaways, 15th in sacks per attempt, 9th in interception rate. Here's some of the numbers that you don't love. Penalties, 66. That's third most in the NFL. And pre-snap, you don't want those. They have 24 of them. Red zone offense also lagging. 19th in the NFL. Red zone defense stinks. When a team gets inside the 20-yard line, the Patriots are 31st in the league at allowing touchdowns. So what do you got on that stuff there in terms of the stats that stand out? I look at all of these things together. I'm thinking opponent record and the points per game improvement jump out to me, and then all of May.
Yeah, the points per game, for them to be 4th in the league in points per game allowed for the defense stands out to me. And I think, listen, when you see the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward, you see the Cleveland Browns and Dylan Gabriel, you see Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints. If you are a representative NFL defense, your points per game is going to end up looking pretty good. But, Tom, they have been, after these initial drives where they have so much trouble, they have been dominant. Going back to that game they lost to the Steelers, remember, they went a stretch, I think, where they had 5 drives against the Steelers offense, and they allowed like 18 total yards. They have had some stretches where they have been really, really effective, and if they can somehow stretch that over 60 minutes of play, you might have a defense that everyone recognizes as one of the best in football down the stretch.
And that's what's really hard to determine, whether it be May or the defense. If you said, for instance, if Daniel Jones was here, if Patrick Mahomes was here, and that's the caveat that you attach to Drake Maye. Is it Drake Maye or is it the situation and the play calling? Certainly, I don't think it's the players around him necessarily. But you get into that conversation, which is getting into the weeds and being blissfully ignorant of the fact that you can't play that game. You can't get into hypotheticals. So save your hypotheticals. We don't know what they would do here. So keep your blinders on and don't give the caveats and just say that this team, regardless of who's been put in front of it, is 6-2. And ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can easily make the case that they should be 8-0. I mean, let's not get ridiculous. Devin Achane could have stayed in bounds in Miami, and you lose that game. He didn't. Maybe Josh Allen doesn't fumble on the second drive, and you lose that. Who knows? Let's just stick with what's on the paper in front of you. Now you're freelancing. We have a finite amount of time when we do the TV pod. Sorry, everyone. Should we move on to the superlatives? Or do you have anything else to say on the overview portion of the program here?
No, you've done a fantastic job so far. That's the only thing I want to say. I want to move on. Let's go.
You can tell when Phil gets fidgety. All right, time now for superlatives. Here is what Kayshon Boutte had to say about his quarterback, Drake Maye.
I mean, y'all all see what I see. We all see it, you know? Think if you look around the league at the other guys, too, I mean, they doing great stuff, too. But, I mean, I think Drake doing everything they doing. It's not nothing that he's not doing. And I think at the end of the day, we just playing football. We having fun with it, too. So, just supporting my guys.
All right, first award we are giving out, it's going to be Offensive MVP. And since we're pretty clear on who it might be, I want 3 options. I want 3. Give me 3 Offensive MVPs. Weighted voting, Phil.
Okay, Drake Maye has to be number 1 with a bullet. We all know the reasons why. Number 2, I'm going to give to Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Some of the games of late, he's been a little bit light in terms of the overall numbers, but I think what he's done, especially in critical downs for Drake Maye, giving him a go-to guy, I think that's been massive. And number 3, I'm going to go Will Campbell.
Okay, fair. And I don't blame you because it's an upgrade at a position. What the value, again, most valuable, not the best. He's not one of the best tackles in the league yet, maybe never, but yet we'll leave that open-ended. Hypotheticals. We're not doing them. But when I give my MVPs, what's the matter?
I don't love my vote, but I want to hear your reasoning for your 3 guys.
Okay. I got Maye.
It's a difficult vote.
I got Maye.
Yes.
I have Hannah Henry.
Oh, I like that.
And I have Keyshawn Booty.
I like that too.
I want to veer off what you did because I would do Campbell. If you hadn't done Campbell, I would have done Campbell.
I didn't want to go Booty necessarily because I thought 2 receivers in the quarterback was too many. But I think to this point in
Can't
the year,
give it to a running back.
I'm going to give Diggs just a slight nod ahead of Booty. But Booty's been so great down the field. So great. Incredible value there for him.
Can't give it to a running back.
No.
Can't.
Certainly not.
You could consider Morgan Moses if we're going to talk about value.
Sure.
But we're not doing that. You know what? Let's take a quick break. Reconfigure. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, and then we'll get after the rest of our superlatives.
We have a room full of guys that view themselves as impact players, view themselves as game-changing players, and that's where it starts. If you don't believe that you're going to be a game-changing player, you never will be. So we have a room full of guys that want to go out there, make plays, want to help this team win.
All right, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Bobby Spillane. As I said, I'm trying to get him for irrelevant questions later this week. We will find out right here on this program, unless he says I'm not talking to that idiot. We're going to find out right on this program if he reacts negatively to Bobby as opposed to Robert. Who's your defensive MVPs?
Okay. I get to pick 3 here as well, correct?
Yeah, yes,
okay.
yes.
Robert Spillane would be on my list, but he's not at the top of my list.
Okay.
At the top of my list is Marcus Jones.
Oh.
I think Marcus Jones has been tremendous. Run game, pass game, making plays on the football. Give me Marcus Jones as my number 1. My number 2 is going to be Christian Barmore.
Okay.
And my number 3 is going to be Robert Spillane. Milton Williams is somewhere in that mix, but again, I don't want to overlap with position, so I'm giving Barmore the slight nod over Williams. Even though he doesn't quite have the numbers Williams does, I think on a snap-to-snap basis, he has been a real handful
That's
out
great,
there on the field.
Because I'll take Uncle Milty.
Okay.
I have Uncle Milty as my defensive MVP because they still have not allowed a running back, a lead back from an opposing team to gain more than 50 yards. And they've seen some decent ones. Being one of them this past weekend. It's amazing. And they are, as we said, second in the league in rushing yards per game allowed. So Milty is first, then Robert Spillane. Really good point on Marcus. Should I do Carlton Davis or Jalen Hawkins? Both of those seem like reaches, Tom.
Milton Williams is slightly ahead of Christian Barmore when it comes to quarterback pressures so far this year. So you mentioned what the line has done in the run game. What he's done in the pass game has been
I don't think
really effective to this
Caleb
point.
on Chason hasn't been consistent enough.
Harold
although he's
Landry's
had
had some stretches where he's been really good for them.
Can I do Carlton Davis? Or is that a push?
You could. I'm not sure I would. He's just, it feels like, he's had a handful of penalties.
Can I do Jalen Hawkins?
He's missed some time with a hamstring. I'm not sure I'd go there. I'm just looking for consistency. I think the two defensive tackles, Marcus Jones, Robert Spillane.
All right, I'm going to do Marcus Jones too.
You know who would be a sleeper for me? Because their run defense has been so good. They're among the best in football defending the run this year.
Kyrus Tonga.
Tonga.
I love that. I thought of that, and then it went out of my head.
So powerful. What a wrecking ball that guy is.
Biggest surprise individual. You can have one, you can have multiples.
Okay, well, does Drake Maye count? Because
No, yeah, he does.
as good as I thought he would be, my take was always Drake Maye by the end of year 3 will be the better quarterback than Jaden Daniels because I just felt he needed to get a little bit more experience. Daniels had so much more than Maye did when they both were in college. The fact that he has caught him and I think surpassed him already the first half of year 2, that's a stunner even for me.
Agreed on that to a large extent. My biggest surprise has to be Stephon Diggs. I felt as if he would have an impactful season. He could be around 800 yards. He was like 55, 65 catches, I said. But he's been so reliable. And you know what the other surprise is? I mean, we spent so much time talking about it in the preseason and off-season. How will he be culturally as a fit? The Patriots stressed over and over again. They wanted good guys around Drake Maye, and in that huddle, he's been nothing but aces.
How about Booty as a surprise?
We have a most improved coming up, too.
Okay. Booty's
We-
a
we
surprise
have-
for me, and I think it all just stems off the quarterback. So whether it's Diggs or Booty, like everybody that's been involved with that pass game, maybe aside from Pop Douglas, who we both liked going into the year,
We're
and has
only
been
doing one
fine,
there.
but not great.
We'll get to that. Biggest surprise, biggest team-wide surprise, like a general thing that's a surprise. Like it could be
I see.
they stink on third down. They're horrible in the red zone. They can't stop anybody sack-wise.
My biggest team-wide surprise is that they have not been able to run the football as effectively as I thought they would coming into the year. A little bit better these last 2 weeks, but with their running backs, they have largely been one of the worst rushing offenses in football, and that's a surprise to me. I thought with their offensive line personnel, they would at least be able to run it. I had no idea how well they'd be able to pass protect, but running the football, that felt like it should be their bread and butter, and really has not been.
I'm going to go with one that just occurred to me as you were speaking. That is the pivot by the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, to change his offense and meet Drake Maye more than halfway, reaching across the aisle and really finding things that Maye is good at. And we know that McDaniels can be a chameleon offensively and change things to whatever personnel or whatever people do well. But he has really, I think, found a niche with Maye in the way he play calls and playing to his strengths, which if he was more strident with the way he wanted to do things, like Alex Van Pelt certainly was last year, and I'm not slandering Van Pelt because I think he laid a good foundation for Maye fundamentally, but they didn't try and fit Maye into a preconceived hole. They're letting him be him. So I'm going to say that's the biggest surprise because McDaniel's done a great job. What's the worst habit this team has? I'm going first. It's that opening game series TDs that they're allowing, the script. I talked about it before the Buffalo game. Their permissiveness on the first two drives has been jaw-droppingly bad, and that was a big concern going into Buffalo. They'd allowed touchdown after touchdown, and it has continued since the Buffalo game, whether it be Tennessee, whether it be against the Browns, whether it be New Orleans, continues to be challenged on the script.
Can I just say, I think maybe their scariest habit, you could call it worst, but their scariest, I think, for them as an organization is Drake Maye's propensity to take shots.
Okay.
And so whether it's sacks, which I actually, for the most part, I'm okay with that number because sacks are usually drive killers. But when you're as explosive a playmaker as Drake Maye has been, you can kind of overcome those. And sacks are just part of doing business when you're willing to hold on to the football and look deep down the field, or hold on to the football and look to scramble. And some of those sacks, he is scrambling. He just goes out of bounds, for -1 or for 0, and those go into the books as sacks. I think if you're Mike Vrabel, you'd love to see him have a little bit greater grasp on when to get down and how to get down. And it would just make you feel a lot more comfortable moving forward the rest of the year.
All right. Who's the most improved Patriot on the field?
I'm going to give this to Booty. This to Booty, although we did see him, listen, he flashed last year as a deep receiver too. And that chemistry with Drake Maye was there last year too. But not this consistently. It feels like every time he's thrown the ball, it's caught down the field for a first down or a touchdown, Tom. He's been remarkable this year.
I'm going to give you a little wrinkle. I'm going to say most improved within the season. Andy Borregales.
How about that? Okay.
Andy Borregales.
All right, Andy.
Regression king. Who has backslid the most and the most troublingly?
For this one, I'm going to go Keon White. Tom, remember the first day of padded practice during training camp, and we watched Keon White and Will Campbell, and everyone was glued to that matchup, and he buried Campbell. Like, put him in the dirt. It wasn't even really close, their first one-on-one matchup. And on the one hand, you said, oh boy, rookie's got a lot to learn. On the other, you said, Keon White, this might be the year. And it hasn't been. He was a healthy scratch the other day. So that's regression to me.
And I would say Kyle Duggar remains a regression king as well. Unfortunately for him, he's been lapped. And when he's been on the field, not as impactful as you'd hope for a $9 million player. It's been a good run. You can't imagine that it's going to last a hell of a lot longer. Ramondre Stevenson was in a massive, massive, massive effort to claim the throne.
He wanted
the crown of regression king, but he's fixed things up. How about thought he'd be better? I'll go first. Kyle Williams. Thought he'd be better. Thought he'd be better. You?
I just love the face. I'll go with Pop Douglas here, although
good one.
I think he's gotten better. His role is just not what I thought it would be. They're throwing it to him down the field every once in a while. It feels like he's become more of a gadget guy. I thought he would be that, as you did, I know, hub of the offense type of slot receiver. He has that physical skill. It just hasn't really clicked for him in that way as it did for Troy Brown and Wes Welker and all these guys that we've watched for so long. So I think I'll put Pop Douglas in this category, though I don't think these last few weeks he's been all that bad for them. He just hasn't produced as much as we thought.
Thought he'd be worse. I'm going to take this one too. Greg Woodson. Thought it was a dice roll. And a lot of people love the safety out of Cal coming in, but he stepped into a starting role. And I was like, that seems a little dicey to me. But he has been a guy we don't talk about on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. I think if you're playing that position, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the guy I thought would be worse when they signed him initially was Harold Landry, believe it or not.
I do.
Things had not gone well for him in Tennessee at the end there. He looked light. He was not all that impactful against the pass. It was a marriage that we knew they had experience with this guy, and maybe they could bring it out of him. They've brought it out of him in a way that I didn't think they'd be able to. So he slowed down in terms of his sack numbers, I think, the last couple of weeks here. But for the most part, that's been a really good signing for them.
Best play of the first 8 games is?
Best play of the first 8 games is Drake Maye down the field to Stephon Diggs in Buffalo, scramble drill. Diggs knows to go long.
Ooh, yeah.
Maye throws it to a spot right on the sideline where only Diggs can get it. I think that just showed a lot of what has gone well for the Patriots to this point in the year.
I'm going to go with Drake Maye to Kayshon Boutte, the lone reception that he had in Miami.
Great throw. Great catch.
Great throw, great catch. Really set the table for us to be able to say it's not coincidence. He catches balls with people draped on him. Okay, worst play.
Worst play, I'm going to go Drake Maye strip sack against the Steelers.
Okay.
That one was one of those, oh boy, you are trying to do too much here, sir. Because
You're
remember,
doing too much.
he was trying to, it was a strip sack technically, but he was clearly trying to throw it very late and ended up losing the ball, losing possession. Patriots lose that game because they turned it over 5 times.
Okay, I will go with the I could also go Steelers game. I could do any of the Ramondre Stevenson fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I'm pivoting, and I'm doing the Drake Maye pick at the beginning of the second half against the Raiders, throwing down the middle of the field on a 1st and 10. And somehow, all of those kinds of decisions have been expunged. Expunged.
Although this is kind of what made this past game as impressive as it was for me. He had one of those plays.
6 sacks and a dumb pick.
He had
and he
one of
still
those
played
plays,
great.
and he still bounced back and made some great plays for them to win.
All right, most impactful newcomer. Give me top 3. We got
Stephon Diggs, Will Campbell, Morgan Moses.
Okay.
All offense.
Mac Hollins, Bob Espillane, and I will go with Diggs. I'm just trying to get all 6. You know, we could go on and on.
Yeah, that's fair.
C. Davis has been good too. Needs improvement ASAP.
Needs improvement is their pass rush. They need to be more consistent generating pressures. It's not even sacks. And I look at the edge. I think they need somebody from that edge group to emerge outside of Chason and Landry because they're very thin there. You would hate to see one of those guys get banged up. Both have already been banged up at different points. They need to get after the quarterback better.
I love that point because I could say needs improvement, team-wide depth. How are you going to address that? Maybe at the deadline, but you're not going to import guys at every position of need. I think needs improvement is red zone defense. You can't be allowing 31%, being the 31st team in the NFL in terms of allowing touchdowns when teams get inside the 20, and they are also horrendous in goal-to-go defense, meaning they allow touchdowns when a team gets first and goal inside the 10. So that's got to be better. You got to keep teams out. And again, the teams that they've seen are 20 and 40, and the team is already that low in the red zone. Once they see better teams, which would be presumably Atlanta to an extent, then Tampa, then an improved Baltimore team if Lamar comes back. You guys know the schedule. What will improve that hasn't been good?
Travion Henderson. And we saw flashes of it this past week. 10 carries, 75 yards. It feels like they're understanding how to use him a little bit better. I don't know if Josh McDaniels is going to be thrilled about making Henderson the outside run guy and Stevenson the inside run guy. That feels a little too predictable. So we'll see if they can mix it up a little bit more than that. But I just like the way he was used this past week, and I think his improvement will only continue as the year goes on.
I ain't got nothing for will improve. You know why? I'm trying to keep it compressed, trying to keep it quick. You guys probably like a nice quick pod once in a while, especially when there's so much going on here. Record over the final 9 games. They are 6-2 right now. Everybody kind of knows by heart the opponents as they come up. Atlanta, Tampa, then they got the Jets, they got the Dolphins, they have another with the Jets, they have the Bengals, they have
Ravens,
Giants, thank you, and Bills. I mentioned the Bills. Stick to the Bills again. I nailed them all. I'm going to go 5-4.
Interesting. So you've got them losing to, let me guess, Tampa Bay,
Down there, yes.
Buffalo, at home,
Mm-hmm.
Ravens in Baltimore.
Well, I'm kind of going mixed nuts. They're going to lose a game to somebody.
Okay. So you don't want to say who it is, but you just feel as though
No, it's a surprise.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a mystery team.
It's a mystery to me. The game commences. Okay, go ahead.
I've got them 6-3, and I have them losing to the Bucks, Bills, and Ravens. And I'm not sure I even feel great about that. I think I'm kind of doing the Tom Curran thing of giving them a loss somewhere here. The Ravens have a lot of work to do to kind of get back to where we expected them to be. They won this past week, and they're going to get Lamar Jackson back soon. So I think those are their 3 most difficult games. Honestly, though, they're playing so well, Tom.
It's crazy.
I'm not sure they're going to lose all 3 of those. But
I mean,
I'll go 6-3. And that gives them what kind of record?
12.
12 wins. It's just 12.
All right. Last thing, the Patriots have the Atlanta Falcons this week. They just got torn a new one by, of all teams, the Miami Dolphins, 34-6. This is Raheem Morris. Fast talking Raheem. You better get ready for this. This is a very fast answer.
Did you feel like they had a beat on what you were doing offensively?
You have to say yes. I mean, they went out and smashed us today, and they had a beat on what we were doing defensively. They had a beat on what we were doing special teams. They did a nice job today, and we did not do a well job today.
You've had a tough time following up both the Minnesota game and the Buffalo game. Any explanation for that at this point?
I don't. We got to go back and look at the tape, evaluate those things, and get ready to go.
Could be Kirk Cousins, could be Michael Penix, could be Drake London out there, maybe not. It's a difficult team offensively to deal with. Kyle Pitts, who I said will be a Hall of Fame player. Boy, do I have some predictions out there hanging around.
You sure do. Thank God for the internet. And listen, there's still time. Okay? You never know.
9 catches Sunday.
With Kyle Pitts. I just look at this team as a team that is in disarray. You should be able to rip and tear your way to a 7th win.
All right. We're going to put a cork in it. Phil will have the next Pats this week. I will have, as I mentioned, God willing, Bobby Spillane. If I find out it's Robert and he knows how many times I've called him Bobby, there'll be another new one torn. All right. Back to you.